Our customers are always asking me, how do I choose the best builder to build my project? And so I assembled a little list here, and I just want to cover some of the basics that you're going to want to consider to choose a builder, regardless of what type of patio you're building. Right. Now, in terms of Renaissance dealers, we've done quite a bit of pre-qualification for you. So if you've been matched with a dealer through our website, you know that that dealer is properly licensed and insured. They're credit worthy because they have a materials terms account with us. And that they have a very positive online reputation. How do we research that? Well, it's simple. Just go to Google and type in the name of the company. If they have 100 positive reviews, you can be pretty sure that they're going to do a good job, because for every 10 great jobs you build, you get maybe one review if you're lucky. But for every single job that you have a problem on, you get one bad review. Right? And so if you have 100 positive reviews, that's an astronomically hard thing to accomplish. Right? We make sure that they are financially secure in order to participate in our Renaissance dealer program. And of course, they have to adhere to our code of conduct when it comes to customer service. But that's only for Renaissance dealers. Let's say you're working with somebody that you didn't find on the Renaissance website. There's still absolute top tier companies out there that aren't participating in our dealer program. So let's talk about how you could verify that you're working with the right company in that case. Well, first, the same advice that anybody would give you, you want to make sure they're properly licensed and insured. If you live in an area that requires a building permit, they're going to need that license in order to pull that permit. If somebody asks you to pull the permit, well, that's a big red flag. That means they're not properly licensed in order to pull a permit in the first place. If you live in an area that doesn't require permits and doesn't require licensure, then it's a non-issue. The insurance you definitely want to check on, because if something bad happens on a construction project, if the contractor isn't properly insured, then the liability can fall back on the homeowner, and you really don't want that kind of headache in your life. Next, you definitely want to do some checking into the contractor's online reputation. Facebook and Google are the two biggest sources of consumer reviews. So read through a couple good reviews, read through a couple bad reviews. Do they both seem honest and reasonable? Yes or no, right? That'll give you a pretty good idea about who you're working with. You also want to look at what product lines does a contractor offer and whether those product lines align with what you're trying to build. So there are a lot of contractors that offer just one thing, and they'll say, okay, well, we only offer standard patio systems. And in that case, they're going to try and sell the standard patio system. You want to do your research on what products you like and what products you want to see, and then choose contractors that specialize in those products. I would definitely ask to see pictures of past projects. In my experience, any contractor that's been in business a little while has hundreds of pictures of projects that they've completed. They may not be fancy, glossy images like in a magazine, but they'll be iPhone images are totally acceptable. And that's what you want to look for. Has this guy built a bunch of projects? Do they look like they know what they're doing? Et cetera, et cetera. Right? Then, of course, you want to go with your gut. So we all have this internal sense of who we can trust and who we can't trust. And so if you're sitting down with a contractor and you get the warm and fuzzies and you think, hey, this is an honest guy, he's going to do a good job, 90% of the time you're right. Most people are very intuitive when it comes to knowing which companies to work with. And so if you've done all your homework and you've done all the checks that we just discussed, that's going to be a real big comfort builder into who you're working with. And then if the person that shows up to your home and designs a project with you really nails the design and they understand your needs and you feel good about the transaction, then in general, I would say that is an extremely positive sign. And finally, in this industry, professionalism really counts. So if the company that you're talking to has a really dialed in process for calling you back, for setting up appointments, for keeping in communication with you, for designing your patio, it could be using our 3D digital design tool or any tool out there to design a patio, that's a big indicator of how they run their business. So a company that has no processes and no, orders for anything, well, that's totally dependent upon the skill of the guy that day in order to make things happen. A real company is going to have processes and procedures in place to make sure that all those things happen in a timely manner. And so you want to look for that. Professionalism really does count in this industry. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You've done way more homework than the average consumer, and you're way more prepared to talk with any patio builder in the industry. And so I wish you all the best and hope that you build an absolutely spectacular project that you love.